Hi, I'm Moses from Zinc Review. Thank you for watching our first review video. And we're lucky to have a very unique headphone in our studio today. And it also comes from a quite unique headphone manufacturer, the new company Ultrasone 1811. You're probably familiar with their exotic edition series. And the one here in our studio today is the new member to the edition family. It announced by Ultrasone weeks ago in China. When we talk about Ultrasone, what will come to your mind? If you know this brand already, you may recall something like luxury packaging, fancy technologies, exaggerated material, and super expensive price tag, of course. Ultrasone is a brand that people either love the sounding of their headphones or disdain listening to them. But it seems like Ultrasone lovers have quite strong brand loyalty, and they'll always fight with non-Ultrasone lovers. It's all happening in Chinese audiophile communities. Something like, oh, you like Ultrasone really? Ah, yeah, yes. Besides Ultrasone, everything sounds like a shit. You know what? Same story happens nearly every day on Ultrasone lover. Maybe I'll find audio lovers as well. Okay, it's not hard to guess because their headphone has unique sound signature which make huge difference with other major brand audiophile headphones. Maybe that's the reason we rarely see some discussion about Ultrasone headphone on HeadFi or any other global audiophile communities. But in Asia, it's another story. Ultrasone became to making high-end audiophile-grade headphones because of their successful in Japanese market. They announced their legendary Edition 7 in 2004 and the first model of Edition series to start the journey, which set a whole new standard of luxury headphones. And then the very famous Edition 9, which is here. Let me tell you a story. When the Edition 9 first came out, it came with the super long 10-feet cable and quarter-inch connectors, because Ultrasone may never wanted people to use it on the go. But some crazy Japanese audiophile found how easy this high-performance headphone can be drive. They cut the cable into 4 feet and wired it with the 3.5mm connectors and plugged it into an iPod or Walkman for on-the-go listening. And you know what? A lot of Edition 9 users did that. Well, I'm not one of them. But it makes Ultrasone discover the new world of user scenario. That's why they developed Edition 8 later on. But honestly, I don't like Edition 8 at all. Well, I purchased the Edition 8 and never liked its sound signature. It sounds too bright for me. Well, a lot of Chinese Edition 8 fans said that it needs to run in for over 2,000 hours to get the right performance. Oh my god, 2,000 hours? Seriously? Oh, by the way, at the year that Edition 9 is popular in Japan, I remember Japanese audiophile magazine said Edition 9 is the most detailed headphone available in the market. I'd say that's true. Edition 9 has the highest resolution performance over the industry at the time, although it's not a neutral and relaxed sounding headphone that I like, but I would definitely prefer Edition 9 over the Edition 8. When I first noticed the brand I mean Ultrasone, firstly, I was scared by the price tag. I know you too. And secondly, I was shocked by their fancy technologies. It really sounds like a crazy expensive headphone made by a mad scientist. Yes, I'm talking about the S-Logic. If you know Ultrasone, this should be the first word come across your mind. The founder of Ultrasone found that no headphone on the market at the moment could give the listeners an experience like speakers, because the sounds feel inside your head. So he started his research to develop a headphone that can give listeners that close to headphone listening experience, which means making the sound surrounding your head instead of inside your head. Then, he created Ultrasone's first headphone, which is Hi-Fi 100, if I remember it correctly. Oh, it's made by a smoke alarm. Yes, a smoke alarm. And he named that technology applied on it as S-Logic. Maybe you have already experienced S-Logic, but you probably want to know how it works. So let me ask you a question. Do you know why humans have oracle? Oracle here. Because it helps us to collect more accurate sound information, like source direction and maybe distance as well. It also amplifies the sound and directs it into the ordinary channel. Because the sound may have reflected multiple times by the pinna before you hear it. If a human without oracle, you will hardly know the direction of the sound coming from. This is the core idea of the S-Logic system. Instead of making the sound directly into your ear like many other headphones, Ultrasone headphone with S-Logic will generate sound by special drive positioning to make multiple sound wave reflection before it came into your ear. and that will make the headphone a surrounding sound experience. Now the S-Logic technology is coming to the third generation, which is the S-Logic EX, applied into their flagship model Edition 15, and also 1880EX. Well, be honest, I'm not a crazy Ultrasone fan. Be honest, I'm not even an Ultrasone fan. But I do have or had some Ultrasone headphones in my personal collection, like the vintage flagship Edition 9 that I mentioned here, right here. Also with its reissue version, the Signature Pro, and I like that very much. I also had Edition 8, that you know the story, and now I own the newly updated version, the Edition 80EX. And here is the current flagship Edition 15. I goddamn love the sounding of that. It sounds really great. Maybe now you hardly believe that I am actually not an Ultrasone fan, but I can say that I'm quite familiar with the variable sound signature from Ultrasone Edition series. A lot of audiophiles ask me that how I like the Ultrasone sound. I'd say it's really hard to summarize a particular style for how Ultrasone sounds like. For those who hated Ultrasone, they probably just said it sounds distorted. But for me, I would say because Ultrasone really toned many different styles of sound signature. Well, for example, the Edition series. Each of them have very unique style of sound signature with huge different shape of frequency response. That's why it's really hard to define a particular style for Ultrasone sound. But I do have a great description that I used in my Edition 15 review. I call it mannerism sounding. If you know nothing about art history, you may have no idea about what mannerism is. But I'm sure you should have heard the High Renaissance and Baroque, right? Mannerism is an artistic style between High Renaissance and Baroque. It has a unique technique called the ambiguous space. In mannerism painting, positions can have no focal point. Figures can be characterized by the athletic blending and twisting with distortions and exaggerations. Like the mannerism masterpiece Madonna with Long Neck, it painted by mannerism master Parmigianino in 1535. We can see the characters in the painting has exaggerated body proportion, such as the super long leg and long neck. Maybe that's why this painting named that. And we can also see the background perspective and the space of this painting is somehow weird. Well, if you're an Ultrasone fan, you probably know what I'm talking about. The ambiguous space was exactly like the S-Logic. S-Logic created a somehow 3D surrounding sound feeling. But if you used to listen to other major brand audiophile headphones like Sennheiser, Biodynamic, Odyssey, blah blah blah, Ultrasone will maybe give you a weird listening experience when you first try it on, because the S-Logic will give you an ambiguous imaging and soundstage experience. It's just so different. You have to experience by yourself. You may feel very reluctant when you first listen to them, especially for some music like orchestra. You may feel the imaging and positioning of each instrument is not correct. That's why I let some of my friends try my Edition 8 and they said, it sounds great, sound quality-wise is really excellent, but I just feel something is not right. Well, if you own a Sennheiser HD800 or Biodynamic T1 or other ordinary headphone at the same level, you may feel you listen music in a cave or something when you first try S-Logic. That's the reason many audiophiles hate Ultrasone. Just like many artists hate mannerism art. Well, I'm not saying that Ultrasone is bad. Mannerism artists were tired of High Renaissance perfect composition, so they developed this ambiguous space technique to make their work more fun to look at. Just like the founder of Ultrasone, he was not satisfied with any headphone available on the market at the moment. That's why he developed the S-Logic. You may have tried some of the Ultrasone headphones and you hated it. But you know, there's still a lot of Ultrasone fans out there. They love it by some reason. Like me, I can't say I love S-Logic and hated Edition 8, but I do enjoy the Edition 9 and 777. Oh, their new flagship Edition 15 was really blown me away. It just sounds great. I don't even feel the downside of S-Logic there. But the price tag will still shock me. Okay, finally, our row is here. The new Edition family member code 11. You need to know that it is not going out yet right now. This is the pre-production version with the white box outside, so we're not going to do an unboxing today. Well, let's take a look. First impression, it's not like something from Ultrasone Edition series, right? You can see. It does not like any other headphone from Edition series which have the exotic metals or 1,000-year-old wood. But we do have a wood housing here, and this wood is crafted by Wen'er, and you can see this is a fully open design. Edition 11 is the fourth fully open design in Edition family after the Edition 10, 12, and 15. And we have a velour airpad, the Alcantara headband with aircrafted aluminum. Oh, here, Ultrasone made some changes. The cable connector. It's 2-pin, you can see, but it's not the lemon-like 2-pin on Sennheiser HD800 series. It's a 0.78mm 2-pin connector that we normally see in the in-ear monitors. I'm not quite sure why Ultrasone made this change. It doesn't have any lock system. You can just put it out like this. It's super inconvenient and it's really easy to drop. I really miss the lemon connector on Edition 15 and AEX. It's super stable, just super stable. And okay, it's only one 10-feet cable in box, so Ultrasone defined only for indoor using. But I'm not sure it will come with an extra 4-feet cable like Edition 15 in the final release version. Well, the ergonomics is great, by the way, and it's super comfortable. It's way comfortable than Edition 15 and Edition 80X, and of course it's way better than Edition 9 777 as well. Here it has a large ear space, and the velour part is having really nice touching feel to the skin. Okay, in general, the design of Edition 11 is too ordinary for Edition series, right? But it's really not a bad thing. I really don't want to wear some exotic metal or 1,000 years wood on the street, or even in my house. I think that's more like something belong to the showcase. Maybe compared to ordinary, it's better to say vintage or retro. Now you get what I mean? Why would I say this? Because the Edition 11 sounds not ordinary at all. When I first tried it on, it gave me a vintage feeling. The things I hated about Ultrasone, one of them is smaller soundstage compared to other cans around the same price range. Seems like Ultrasone only using 40mm size transducer on their headphones. Maybe that's one of the reasons their headphones have smaller soundstage. But by listening Edition 11, the first thing I noticed is the way wider soundstage than other Edition brothers. I checked it out. They still put a 40mm drive into the Edition 11, but this time, no metal plated. If you learn Ultrasone, you should know they like to use titanium plated driver. All of the Edition series before 11 used the titanium plated driver, and Edition 15 even plated gold on the driver dome. Many Chinese audiophile hated Ultrasone because of this. They described it as metal-like turning, and they think that it will run intakes forever. Edition 11 is the first and only edition without metal-plated driver. So what's driver inside this time? Yes, it's biocellulose. If you're a real headphone audiophile, you should be familiar with the biocellulose driver. The Force Tanks, AudioQuest Nighthawk, and even the legendary Sony R10 are all using biocellulose driver. It's lightweight and efficient. The biocellulose driver on Edition 11, they call it Chutex biocellulose fiber compound driver. I know it's a little bit techy, but what I want to say is, Edition 11 sounds like none of the previous Ultrasone headphones. Well, I've said exact same thing in my 1815 review. Yes, Ultrasone changed their style again, and this time it surprised me the most. My first impression of Edition 11 is almost equally good as Edition 15. Overall, not that detailed and refined as 15, but a way larger soundstage and pretty impressive spatiality. I'd say soundstage-wise, it really reminds me the first time I tried HD800. The soundstage and spatiality improvement makes the Edition 11 is now the first and only headphone could enjoy the music like Grand Symphony Orchestra in Ultrasone Edition family. I always start testing gear with orchestra music because I love classical music. So I passed a lot of Ultrasone headphones right after my first try. It plays orchestra surprisingly good actually on Edition 11. So the soundstage and spatiality, a big surprise. Finally Ultrasone made some change and I really appreciate that. The tonal signature of this headphone is not as unique as other edition cans. It seems like Ultrasone has now turned the headphone more towards the ordinary. The last time I feel about same thing is on Edition 15. It sounds quite balanced. Before that, I never used any word like balanced or neutral to describe an Ultrasone headphone. This time on Edition 11, it generally gives the balanced feeling. but not balanced as 15 in my initial impression. The bass on many Ultrasone headphones are pretty tight and fast, but on 11, the bass is quite relaxed and flexible. That's a little bit surprised. The bass punch and the impact is not the top level, but still quite good. Bass extensions are usually the strong point of Ultrasone headphone, but this time it's not meet my expectation, but still acceptable. When listening to something big stage, you may feel the bass of this can is a little bit raised up compared to other headphones. I guess Ultrasone turned like this because they wanted to have excellent spatiality and they did it very well. Mid-range, never the strong point of Ultrasone headphone, but this time, just like the Edition 15, it's quite refined thanks for the biocellulose driver, but I wish it can turn it a little bit plumper on mid-range. Okay, next, the treble. Treble. I really enjoyed the little bit of roll-off treble on Edition 15, but this time somehow the Ultrasone brand famous aggressive treble is back on 11. Well, don't scare, it's not that too much. Not that too much. Like the Edition 10, Edition 5, and Jubilee 25. Edition 11 still has the detailed treble. However, when listening to some instrument like trumpet or some piano tracks, you can still feel a little bit annoying brightness in somewhere around high frequency. Maybe after a serious run-in, it could solve that problem. And I guess this pair in my hand is probably less than 50 hours. Well, I could not say this can have smooth treble. Actually, none of Ultrasone has. Other things about sound quality, resolution and clarity is good enough. Like the Edition 15, again, the transparency is never the strong point of Ultrasone. However, the imaging of this can is way better than many other Ultrasones, nearly as good as 15. Seems like this little biocellulose driver brings a lot of fresh idea into this new Ultrasone. It sounds quite balanced, relaxed and enjoyable. That's why I said this can has retro tonality. It's designed retro-like and it sounds retro-like. Perhaps Ultrasone just want to make Edition 11 a completely retro-feeling headphone, and I think they really did it well. The soundstage and spatiality really become the highlight, and made this camp could finally play some Ultrasone classical music. Yes, Ultrasone classical music. And pretty enjoyable. Oh, almost forget. Like other Ultrasone editions, this one is also quite easy to drive. But for the best performance, you may need a great source and amplifier. Seems like Edition 11 has a little bit more potential than 15 in my initial test. I pretty enjoyed the combo with the Zinc Audio WA8 Eclipse. I paired it up with a Cord Q-Test as a deck. And it also works very well with the Cord Hugo 2. As I said, the Edition 11 is not going out yet, but it should be available in this month. The price announced in China is around 11,000 Chinese yuan, somewhere around 1,500 US dollars. Well, probably the cheapest edition at the price announced. But it sounds more neutral and balanced than most of the bigger brothers. For those who are super Ultrasone fans, you may hate this headphone, just like how you hated Edition 15. You know what I mean, because they really sounds different from a traditional Ultrasone. Well, if you hated Ultrasone, and you really hated Ultrasone, and you are a retro guy, or if you like grand symphony orchestra music, or if you own HD 800 and you enjoyed it very well, you want to try different tastes and different style of the headphone that enjoy an orchestra music, you definitely want to check this one out. It may be open a new gate to an Ultrasone for you. Again, listen once is more than 1,000 reviews. Next week, after Chinese National Day break, we will have a listening event for Edition 11. If you are in China and maybe accidentally in Hangzhou, you're welcome to our studio. Okay, since this is our first review video, we may like to talk about us for a little bit at the end. We are a group of audiophiles in China with years of listening experience of high-end music gears. Well, mainly focused on high-end headphone system, but we do have experience of loudspeakers as well. But you may ask why we're in China and reviewing stuff in English. That's because now China has the largest hi-fi market in the world. I know you may doubt, I can see. Well, the truth is, China now has the largest audiophile community. I know it's somehow unbelievable, but there are more than 20 audio shows in China every year. That's why many high-end manufacturers now choose China to announce their new product. And we're happy and honored to be the first to review newly announced audio stuffs. I guess you may want to know what Chinese audiophiles thinking and what they're listening. Also, there are a lot of Chinese high-end manufacturers. They're really making crazy and amazing stuff right now. If you want to know about something, what happens in this world's largest audiophile community, and if you want to see some crazy audio stuff reviews, hit the subscribe button down below and we will see you very soon. Bye bye.